Welcome to the show. Today I have AP from Smugcast after this. Hey, man, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Glad I could do it.
As I was telling you before we went live that I wanted to have people on to talk about not just keto, because I don't want to be just an echo chamber. And I was on your podcast a couple years ago, and we were talking about keto and your journey with that. I just wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit. If you want to give us a rundown of, you know, how you found keto, what it did for you, and what that looks like for you in the future.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've never really been like, you know, I don't know, I guess really extremely overweight, I guess. I mean, you know, as I got older, I got a little thicker, you know, most people do. And I know people make excuses like, oh, I don't have time to go to the gym. Well, I really didn't have time to go to the gym because not only was I doing the show, you know, I work 10 hours a day. I do audio, or I do video work. I do photography work. And I was getting up about 5 o'clock in the morning, going to work, come home, do the family thing for a couple hours, jump on a computer, and was on a computer till 11, 12 o'clock at night, you know, editing video, photo, you know, whatever it is, you know. And then, you know, obviously had the show too. So I kind of started, you know, I was listening to podcasts and stuff, and, you know, always heard like Joe Rogan and those guys talking about keto. And, you know, my wife's it seems like she's always on some kind of diet, you know. And so I finally said something to her one day, and I was like, why don't you look into this keto stuff? I was like, as a guy, like, it really seems like it fits what I want to eat. You know, it's like, you know, meat, cheese, and eggs, you know, the basic form, you know. And so she started looking into it, and she was like, all right, let's try it, you know. And, you know, at first I was like, man, I don't even know what to eat. What do you mean we got to count this? We got to, you know, and finally somebody was just like, no, man, just eat meat, cheese, and eggs. And we kind of got the percentages, you know, it was like what fat, you know, versus protein and stuff, you know. So when I started, like I said, I've never really been a big guy. When I graduated high school, I weighed like 160 pounds, 6 foot tall. When I first started, I was like 213, and I don't carry it well. It's all right here in the middle. And so we started it, and as we kind of went on, like, you know, within like 2 or 3 weeks, like, it really kind of became fun, you know, because it was like, well, what else can we make? You know, it was like the first real thing, you know, was like fathead pizza, you know. And so I was like, let's eat that, you know. So, you know, we'd have that a couple nights a week. I mean, we were eating bacon a couple times a week, you know, eggs, and, you know, my lunch was probably the hardest thing to figure out, but I finally figured out, you know, salami and cheese. That was my lunch every day. And I still eat that sometimes. But so within, I want to say we started in August of 2018, I want to say. And by November of 2018, I remember it was Thanksgiving, because we had not had a cheat meal up until Thanksgiving. I mean, it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, no, let's just go at this hard, you know, because my wife's like all or nothing. So it was like, we'll make Thanksgiving a cheat, our first cheat meal. And so we did that. And by Thanksgiving, I was from 213 down to 180.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we kept on it, you know, had our first cheat meal and stuff, kept on it. And I kind of hit my plateau, like where I was at 180, but I was fine with it, because I mean, I'm 6 foot tall. And as long as I could maintain that, I was fine with it. But so fast forward to 2019 in April. And I got put on some medicine. Well, for ADHD. And I dropped down to like 165 pounds. And I was like, man, I don't feel like I look right. Like I feel like I'm way too skinny, you know, for my, you know, my height, my age. You know, I feel like I didn't look right. And my dad even said something. So I stayed on it for a little bit, and I kind of stayed at that 165. But like I didn't feel right. Like, you know, I mean, my medicine was Adderall, so it's already like not hungry. And I got to, when was that? Sometime in 2019, and I started losing weight again. And I was like, I can't do this. Like you know, I mean, most people would love it, but you know, I think I got down to like 160 and hit like 159. And like, I just didn't look right. Like I was way too skinny. So that's when I got off of it. But you know, going from 213 to 180 without doing anything other than changing the way I eat was mind blowing. Getting off sugar was probably one of the hardest things I did, but it was like the best thing I ever did. Like it just amazed me at how much more energy I had by not eating sugar.
That's insane, right?
Oh, it's totally like, I mean, if people could experience it, they'd never eat sugar again. Like you just literally just have energy all day. You know, now a lot of that, you know, is being keto too. You know, it's your body, you know, has something to eat. You know, it doesn't need carbs, you know, to supply its energy source. Like you already have it in you. You know, and your body can use it. Now, obviously, it's not going to use it that quick, but you know, once you're in full ketosis, you know, I mean, you do the fast, you know, and your body's using what it has in it already to give itself energy.
Yeah, I did beginning of the year this year, 2020, or 2021 rather, I started January 2nd and I did a 21-day water fast.
Oh, 21 days?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
It was kind of like one of those bucket list things for me.
Right.
2020 being the year that it was, we don't have to get into all that mess, but but I gained, you know, I gained weight, you know, because that was a total like shift, like a total life shift for me. I'm used to leaving the house every day, going to an office, and I'm able to control and have, you know, full control over how I eat every day because I had a routine set that had been years in the making. So getting up every day, leaving the house, having my coffee, whatever the case is, get up, leave the house, be gone till 3, 4, maybe 6 o'clock, depending on, you know, how late I'm working that day, come home, make dinner, do stuff, go to bed. And then 2020 rolls around and that all shifts and I'm not leaving the house now.
Right.
And I was able to keep that routine up at first, but then you got to run downstairs for something. You know, you hear the cats doing something. You run downstairs. Well, there's the fridge.
Yeah.
Well, now I can go and grab this real quick. I can just have, there's a pack of salami in there. I can pick this up. I got chicken stuff in there. I can pull that out. I can eat that while I'm working. Right. That just kind of shifts that dynamic. And I end up gaining, I don't even really know how much I weigh, but I know like coming up on the end of 2020, I was about 340 pounds.
Right.
So I had gotten down to 285, between 275 and 285 is kind of where I hung out for a long time.
Yeah.
So then when I looked at, you know, I was like, man, you know, you can feel like pants don't fit the same anymore. Pants don't fit at all anymore. I mean, I don't know if that's because I was wearing sweatpants every day, but, and your body's like, well, I don't have to hold this in anymore.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I'm just going to start this year off. I'm going to start a fast. I'm going to be more diligent with everything. So I tried to do a couple 21-day fasts before. I made it to 14 days one time and 15 days the next time. So I was like, okay, I need to get this out of my system and do 21 days. And I pretty much did two things back to back. I not only started my 21-day fast, but then I also really kicked my YouTube channel into gear. So those kind of went hand in hand. So I was pretty much putting a video up every day for that.
Oh, yeah.
whether they were a minute long, 58 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was, just checking in with people, letting them know how my fast was going.
Right. Yeah.
So I was able to lose about 40 pounds in 21 days.
Oh, wow.
And I pretty much kept most of it off. I'm right around like 305 right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how does that, losing that much in 21 days, like that's, it seems like I don't know how that would stay off,
I anticipated about 15 to 20% coming back on.
Right.
And then I would say, since I've been trying to be more diligent with what I've eaten, so I think that's helped out a lot. So that helps keep it from creeping back up where it was before.
Right.
And then, like I say, the other day I was like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to even get more strict. I'm going to be like just meat and eggs for the next couple of weeks. And I go and I've got like 13 dozen eggs in the fridge. And then I go and buy like flavored pork rinds.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm like a meme of myself,
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I get it, man. No, it is, when we talked earlier, I was fortunate enough to be able to still, go out, go to work. I am in construction and also do real estate, and both of those were, considered essential, and we had to go out places. Now, it was difficult sometimes, but it allowed me to still, because even though I'm not on keto right now, like I still, I still watch what I eat, but like those weekends, like once the work week was over, and like we're all just kind of stuck at the house, I did notice myself, like you said, I'll eat this real quick, and then it's like, 40 minutes later, you're like, oh man, let's have a couple of these, And so, I did. I gained weight. I think I put on like 10 or 15 pounds last year. And then, I finally, I was like, okay, this has got to stop. Like, this is weight. I should not weigh this. Like, I lost, because when I dropped down to 180, because I went down, and then I was like, okay, I have to stop one of these two. So I ended up stopping keto. Because the other helped me so much mentally. I got back to like 180, and I was able to maintain that until, about halfway through last year is when I really started noticing, like, you put on some weight, bud. And I did, man. I got back up close to like 200. And then I was like, okay, man, we need to like either go back to keto or just really cut out a lot of this bad stuff you're eating. And for the most part, I've got it back down. Now I stay around that 180, 185. But the only reason I was able to get down there to begin with was because of keto. Nothing else ever worked. I tried all kinds of stuff, and it just, like, weight wouldn't come off. And keto, for some reason, like, it just fell off. And I can't even tell you how many people me and my wife have got started on it that were people, who were, 280, 300 pounds. And within 6 months, they're down to around 225, and they're calling us going, I can't believe this works like this. And it's like, we told you, it works.
Even for me, like the first month, because I was up to like 420 pounds. I think we talked about that before, but I was like over 420 pounds when I started. Right. And I remember going to the doctor a month later and getting on the scale, because they're like, jump up on the scale. And I was down 10 pounds, and I hadn't really done anything. It didn't feel like, I had like some of the brain fog and stuff, and I was able to get through some of that. But that, just that initial 10 pounds, like, that's huge.
Oh yeah.
You go from 421 to 411, and that was awesome for me. That was like the biggest 10 pounds to lose, I think, just because when you step on the scale and you see 421 pounds, you're like, man, my life's over, man.
Right.
I'm done.
It's like there's a lot of things that can come with that.
There's a lot of things. I think one of the major misconceptions about weight in general is that weight causes the problem. I think there's a lot of problems in place long before the weight ever comes on.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I think that's one thing that I hope, maybe with this channel and, and doing these talks and stuff, I hope that people will take that in consideration. Like when you see somebody who's like fat, like when I'm at the grocery store and I see somebody like in one of those little carts riding around, they're real big and they're buying all the stuff. I feel like if you only knew how to unlock your potential, and like, you can't just go up to somebody and be like, hey, want to try keto?
Yeah. Right.
That's just, it's not right.
Yeah. I get you.
I mean, I want to.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
I'm like, I just want to pray, like there's a meme that went around the other day and I sent it to my family because it was like two jars and like there was a square jar, had a couple of pennies in it. And then it was like talking about keto when I wasn't asking, it was full of change. Because my kids, man, they're brutal to me because they'll be like, yeah, I got a flat tire, but I wouldn't have got that flat tire if I was keto. I'm like, you guys are dicks. They're always like that to me, but they saw such great results with that though. I mean, because when one major thing I know that a lot of families don't do it the way we did, because when we decided to go keto, in order to make sure that I stayed on track and Shander stayed on track, is the whole house went. Right. So we had our two boys living with us. So we got rid of everything in the house that wasn't keto. We went through and gave stuff away, threw it away, margarine, everything, right? All the flour, the sugar, everything, and filled the house with keto stuff. We were fortunate to be able to do that.
Oh yeah.
They threw a fit, right? No. And if they could have thrown us overboard, they would have.
Yeah.
But it helped because they went into rugby and they lost a bunch of weight and they were able to run and be athletic and they felt good and they just were happy. They were happier. I don't whether or not they noticed it, but there was just so much. Like we'd go on vacation and we went hiking and we went to Colorado and we hiked around like Bear Lake up in like the Rocky Mountain National Park, and it was no problem. Like we just did things that if we would have done it 2 years before that, we would have been miserable.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you got that extra weight. I mean, it's like it can make things hard. I mean, especially hiking. I mean, seriously, I may be like thin or I don't weigh that much, but like I'm out of shape. Like, I mean, I tried to run the other day and made it about 2 blocks, and I was like, this is not a good idea. I can't. I don't have the wind for this anymore. And I was like, my legs don't even feel like they work right.
Like I know that I'm in the house too much. Like when I go to get in the car, so I got a new car. I got a Honda Civic, and it's low to the ground. So when I go to get in the car, like I get in and then I go to pull my left leg in, and I'm like, it's like, I'm like, I gotta help it in. I'm like, that's not right. I need to be moving. Like I sit down all day. I've got comfortable furniture, man. Like, it's like. Yeah. I need to get out and move, and then winter doesn't help, but I mean, winter's not necessarily an excuse.
Right.
I mean, there aren't malls anymore. You can't go walk the malls or anything. You be those people that get up early in the morning and go walk at Walmart. But
right.
I mean, I definitely need to move more because I notice a huge difference. So one thing I want to know, since you've been someone who's been able to kind of successfully go back and forth between keto and, modified American, like I said, I would say like a modified standard American, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you been able to find like that sweet spot where you're not gaining a bunch of weight, you're still kind of keeping the mental clarity aspects or whatever, or what other benefits you saw outside of weight loss from keto when kind of walking away a little further away from it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's weird because, I remember, when we first went keto, my wife actually started before I did, like 2 weeks before I did. I really can't. I think I was out of town for work or something a lot, and I was like, I can't start this right now. It'll be so, I won't be able to dedicate myself to it. So she obviously did all the research, and I mean that's just what she does. And so when I first started, I was about 3 days in, and my legs were hurting. And I was like, man, why do my legs hurt so bad? And so I finally said something to her one night. I was like, man, it's like my legs just like are killing me. Like, I don't understand why they just ache. And she was like, I forgot to tell you. I was like, what? She was like, we need to drink like a sugar-free Powerade, like once a day. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, so how does that? She was like, oh, she's like, you also probably going to need to drink a bunch of pickle juice real quick. I was like, what? So she, got a cup of pickle juice and like, a sugar-free Powerade. And I downed that. And within about 45 minutes, my leg pains went away. She was like, you don't have the salt. And she tried to explain it to me. And I was like, whatever. It's like, I'll just do whatever. So other than that, like I never really got like the keto flu. Like I never got that tiredness. I never really felt bad. Like I just kind of, other than that day or, those couple days feeling my legs, like I never really had what people describe as the keto flu. Like I never got that tiredness. So I don't know if like I was like already able to like go that way and not really force my body into it. I've kind of went back on it a few times here and there, and I've never really got that flu. I've never really got, those feelings. I've always kind of had that like, the mental clarity was like not always 100%, but I like, when I was like truly like in ketosis, like that mental clarity was insane. I mean, there was no fog, it was like, and there was a couple times where I, when I went off of it, like I did, there were some days I'm just like, man, like what is wrong? Like what is wrong with my head? Like I'm just not thinking clear today. Like it's just, it was just brain fog. And but I've kind of found out now that like I'm really able somehow to kind of bounce back and forth, because like once, like let's say I started tomorrow, right? And I just meat, cheese, and egg. Within 2 weeks, I'd probably be down like 10 pounds, and it would be, and like I could be able to see it in my stomach because that's where I hold it all, and it would just be gone. And so I don't know if it's something that's in me that I'm just able to like switch like that. Like I really don't know. It's just weird. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how to tell people to do it. I wish I did, but
I honestly think we're designed to be a little more flexible. Like our metabolic flexibility is such that throughout history, not so much right now. I think right now we're in a situation where we're so sugar and carb driven that when we try to make that switch, it's really rough. But I think if we went back 100, 200, 300 years, I think we would have been more like what you're describing.
Right.
I think, if you were eating a little more bread than you should, or, having more bread and pasta, you'd probably get a little bit around the middle. Maybe you would be, and then you'd be like, well, if I just eat some meat for a while, that'll go away. I think that's more in line with optimal human evolution, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we're supposed to be.
Right.
I think that we've just strayed so far, so fast into this idea of what is considered healthy. Like, we dropped all the animal fats from our diet. Like everything is plant-based this, plant-based that. And we've kind of gone way overcorrected. I mean, we can even see on our animals, like we don't feed our animals what they're supposed to eat. And they're usually not that healthy. They get fat.
An old boss of mine that I'm still really good friends with, they breed dogs. Well, they not only breed, they breed dogs to show. And his wife is, like Grand Chant or something. She's like really big in that world, right? And I talked to him here about a month ago, and we talked. I was talking about my dog, and he was telling me how much like chicken they go through every 2 weeks, because they actually have 8 dogs right now that they're raising and training to be show dogs. And he said they go through like 400 pounds of chicken every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, 400 pounds of chicken? I'm like, dude, I was like, what? How do you feed them? And he's like, I feed it to them raw. He goes, we have fed our animals raw for 25 years. And he goes, we have never had an animal die of cancer, of, anything other than old age. But he said, because we feed them raw. Well, which is how they're supposed to eat, especially, dogs. I mean, dogs in the wild. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're killing animals. They're eating them. It kind of goes back to us. The meat, cheese, and eggs. Even just meat. I mean, it's primal. That's the way we always used to eat. And then we started introducing, all this, this flour, that's like just stomped on, over processed, and it's just horrible. Which also is, I think, another reason why, maybe I am so flexible, is because, for one, I've never been like a huge sugar guy. Like when I was a kid, go trick or treating, my sister would demolish her candy, be hiding it, and it'd be like 3 months later, and I still got 3/4 of a bag of candy. Like I'm not a huge fan of sweets. I like some ice cream stuff every once in a while. But I'm not a huge sugar guy. I also am not a huge pasta guy. Every now and again, if somebody's got some homemade, spaghetti and, some homemade sauce and meatballs, I'm going to dive into that. But that may be once every so often. I've just never been a really big eater of anything other than meat. So I think, and when I did get big, in those years leading up to, after high school up till, 3-4 years ago, my biggest downfall was fast food. It was lunchtime every day. The place I worked was Burger King up the street. Go up there and get a big chicken sandwich, got all that crap on it, fries or onion rings or whatever it was, I always ate fast food every day. Well, that's starting to, I think that's what made me gain that weight. And then once I, fully went keto and didn't eat that stuff anymore, it all fell off. So I think that's maybe one more reason why I am so flexible. Now that I think about it, I just really never really ate that stuff. But going back to the, feed your animals that stuff, there's been some studies that they've cured cancer in animals by putting them on a keto diet. So there's got to be something to it.
I definitely agree. Like I grew up we grew up in like a poor household. So my mom, we were like on food stamps and all that stuff. And I remember shopping at Aldi before Aldi was the bougie that it is now. Right.
Yeah.
Aldi's always been Aldi. It's always been set up the same way. It's always been, you got to like pick up boxes and, everything's all like on the shelf, the certain, the way that it is. It's not really changed to that aspect. But the quality of the food, I think, has been drastically changed, and the prices have drastically changed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember, like, the soda was, like, super, super cheap. They were, we'd get like, the orange and the grape soda.
Yeah.
And then we'd get, like, the bags of chips and all that stuff. And because my mom was always a big proponent of make sure you're full, make sure you get enough to eat, make sure you get enough to eat. But then, but it was always, like, we would eat stuff like fish sticks, like like the breaded cheap fish sticks, and then she'd make like canned carrots and put sugar in it, and so it would taste good for us, and so we would eat it. Yeah. We'd have ketchup, like basically sugar sauce with our fish sticks.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's that's the kind of stuff that I grew up on, and big bowls of cereal before school.
Oh yeah.
So I was a pretty skinny kid in the very beginning. Like I wore Slims, and like, my great grandma would be like, he's too skinny. And then over time, by like middle school, I wasn't skinny anymore.
Right.
And in high school, I wasn't that skinny. And then after high school, I went and worked at like a warehouse job, and I wasn't that skinny. And then, I kind of got to the point where I was over 400 plus pounds, and here we are today. But
right.
I think that's kind of where you hear people say, well, diabetes and this runs in my family. I bet if you take a look at how they eat, that's what runs in their family, is the way they eat.
Yeah, for sure.
And people get mad at that. Like, well, food is so powerful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I've had friends stop talking to me because of keto.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what did they like about it? That you just didn't eat like crap anymore?
Well, no, not like, because like it focused around meat. Like I was pushing lots and lots of meat, you know what I mean? And they were just like, well, I don't want to talk about keto. I don't think it's this. And I'm like, wow. I mean, that like, it hurt me, you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
I've had other issues, I've had other subjects in my life that are more divisive, but,
yeah.
But like the fact that I've been able to drop 140 pounds by switching how I eat and not going to the gym, but 4 times over the last 5 years. And I've been able to successfully maintain a weight and not like go off the rails and go back to 400 plus pounds.
Right.
And I've been able, to create a platform, I guess, with like Instagram and Twitter and stuff where like I can share my progress and hopefully it's helped people along the way. I think it has. I've got like 4,000 followers on Instagram. So for whatever that's worth, but
right.
I don't do it like just to be like, hey, look at me. I want that to be out there because I know what it was like when I was big and I was struggling and I didn't know what to do and I didn't know where to look.
Right.
And I think like Instagram and stuff like that play a big part for people because they can go, okay, this person looked like me and now they're where I want to be. How did they do it?
Yeah.
So,
and that's it. And I mean, that's the whole thing, man. I mean, it's just like, I was saying, me and my wife got, a lot of people, I'm going to say a lot, I would say probably 10 or 15 people, you know what I mean? It's not a huge number, but it's 10 or 15 people that are healthier now, and they weigh less than that, they're where they want to be because of this, and it was, and especially at the beginning, because I mean, we were, if I made something, like if I made like my favorite thing I ever made, that was just randomness. I woke up one morning and I really wanted like a breakfast pizza. And so I was like, okay. I was like, well, okay, I can do the crust. I can cook some bacon. I can do eggs. I got cheese. And I was like, what am I gonna do for the sauce? Like, how do I make? I was like, I can't put gravy on it. I was like, this is before we got like, we got a couple keto cookbooks and stuff, after we were in it, quite a ways. And this is before then. And so like, I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and make all this. And I was like, I'll figure out the sauce. Like something will come to me. And if not, I'll just eat this, it's still going to taste good. I'll figure something out. And so, so I'm sitting there and, my stuff is cooking and I'm thinking about it. And then it finally hit. I was like, cream cheese. I was like, I think I can have cream cheese. And so I was like, okay, well, how do I make that into a sauce? And then I open up the fridge and there sits my heavy whipping cream that I put in my coffee. And, which you got to be careful about. Not all heavy whipping cream is made keto friendly. But what kind I had was. So I was like, okay, so cream cheese, heavy whipping cream. I was like, let's just experiment. Let's see what we come up with. So I ended up making a cream cheese sauce to go on my fathead pizza crust with my eggs and cheese and bacon. And I don't think there was sausage on there, but there may have been. Like
there should have been.
It probably was. I can't. I'm blanking it out right now. But one, the regular, making of one fathead, that's a pretty big size pizza, and I couldn't quit eating it. I literally, that is like still to this day, the best thing I have ever ate in my life.
Have you made it again?
No, I haven't. I have not made it again. I have all the ingredients, and for some reason, I just haven't made it again. I don't know if I don't want to ruin the experience because maybe it was just like I was so hungry for that it was so good. But, so fast forward, so these people that, that kind of came to us because I posted a picture of it. I was proud of it. Like I ate it and I was like, dude, this is amazing. You have got to eat this. This is so good. I was like, come over, I will make another one. But I ate that whole pizza myself right then and there. I cut it in 4 pieces and ate one, and I was like, oh, that is so good. And so I ate another piece, and I was like, man, this is too much food, for first thing in the morning. And so I was like, I put it to the side, and it was about 30 minutes later, and I was like, I got to eat that. I have to eat that. I don't know why, but it just tastes so good. And I ended up smashing that whole thing. And I felt fine though. I didn't feel overly stuffed. I mean, my body was just burning it off, right? So, but anyway, we would post stuff like that, just small thing. She made keto bread one night. Something we found online. We wanted to try it. He made it in the microwave. It was like egg and something like the nut
almond flour. Yeah,
almond flour. And so we posted a picture of that. And so people were like, they would call us, and it was fun to get them started. And they were like, well, what do I eat for breakfast? I was like, well, what do you want to eat for breakfast? Well, pancakes. Well, okay, well, don't eat that. That's not what, don't eat.
I mean, just be like, well, crush up some pork rinds, mix in some eggs, some sweetener, throw it on the thing, and you got some pancakes, man.
Right.
Or cheese. Like yeah. I made chaffles. I made 2 batches of this chaffle. So like what I'll do is I'll take like a pound of the breakfast sausage, like just try to find the cleanest that I can. Weirdly enough, it's like the cheap Walmart pound of like breakfast sausage.
Yep.
It has like it's like got 0 carbs per serving or whatever. So that's what it says on the package. But
right.
I'll take that and I'll cut it into like fourths and then fourths again. And then I'll mix it in with eggs and cheese and I'll blend it up. It looks awful. And it's like liquid form. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it in my chaffle makers. Dude, those are so good because they're basically sausage, egg, and cheese chaffles.
Right. Yeah.
And like I made those just yesterday. I like had them because when I make a batch, it makes like 26 chaffles. So I put them in like a gallon bag, throw them in the freezer. They'll last a week or so. I'll pull a couple out, put butter in a pan, and like just flip them over a couple times, get them all good and like crispy again. Yeah. And I got some of the Sinfit, brand of maple syrup the other day. Another YouTuber, Instagram guy was talking about it, so I went and used his discount code and ordered some. And it was pretty good because there's something about like eggs and like sugar-free syrup. I like it. I don't know what it is, but then mixing that sausage chaffle in with it, man, that was so good. And it's like one of those things I never would have thought to make that.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it, man. No, I mean it's fun. It was just something. It was always new, because there was always somebody that was like, just like that, that had the syrup, or somebody that made something. And it was just like people, once somebody knows you do it and they want to do it, they want to talk to you. And your whole Instagram, those 4,000 people, I guarantee you they've ordered something or made something that you've posted. Because, you're right, and that people don't know where to start. Just like, I remember when we started, like it was kind of confusing. Like I was like, what do you mean just meat, cheese? That's all I can eat is meat, cheese, and that, But then, once you get into it, then you start to realize what those people, what people are talking about. So, those people have seen you like post something that you made or whatever, and they've made that same thing. And they, like us, people would call us or text us, and it was like, well, how, can I eat this for lunch? Like, is it meat? Is it cheese? Is it eggs? Is it something like that? Well, no, it's got, so, okay, well, then don't eat that. But it was just fun. It was cool for people to reach out to you to want to get healthy. You know, because my wife, I mean, she runs marathons. She's now doing bodybuilding. And so
I need to get her on here.
yeah, she's, oh dude, she will talk your ear off about it. But she's not keto anymore. She actually, you know, she actually had some issues because of keto. I don't think keto caused it. I just think keto made her
Showcased it.
Yeah, showcased it. That's a better way to put it. So she ended up going vegan for a while to kind of reset her system. It was weird. I don't know. She would have to explain it to you, but now because of doing the bodybuilding stuff, she eats carbs. You know, she has to eat potatoes. You know, she got to eat a lot of protein, and so she has to. You know, she couldn't right now go and do it keto. Like you could, but with her trainer and the way she's doing it, like there's no way she could do it right now with, you know, and still be able to gain that muscle. Now, I mean, people do, you know, because you think about it, you're eating protein, you know, there's got to be a way, you know, when you're burning the fat, you know, to be able to gain muscle, you know, but it's just the way where she's at now, like there would be no way to do it. But
yeah, there's a guy that I follow, the guy that I found the SinFit stuff from. Then I don't know, maybe you've seen him. His name is Goody Beats.
Oh yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
He's like shredded, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like just to see his transformation too, like to see and how positive he is. He's like a tornado of positivity, man. Like he's like, you know, he's always like his stuff's always like really good and upbeat and everything, and
right.
Like, and he's just jacked. Like, I don't think I would sit and look at him and I'm like, I don't understand. I don't think I could ever spend that much time in a gym.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know, like, if I would even look like that, what I would do with myself.
I'd walk around with no clothes on.
I would be like, well, I mean, he wears like short shorts and stuff. I mean, you know, but I'm like, look at me. I've been always like one that's always like hiding. I always like wear black shirts. And,
right.
You know, even now, like, I was thinking about this today. I was looking in the mirror and I'm like looking at myself and I'm like, man, you have those days you look at yourself and like that body dysmorphia stuff is legit. Like I'll look at myself in the mirror and be like, man, I look like a fat slob, right?
Right.
But then I'm like, but I'm a fat slob in a XXX shirt, not a 4 or 5X shirt.
Right.
So I mean, like, and I mean, I don't mean to be derogatory to me, but I mean, like, you look at that and your brain just kind of goes negative. Man, if only I look better, you know. And I'm like, I'm in progress, you know what I mean? I'm always moving forward, but
right,
you know, like that, like you have to kind of like slap yourself a little bit sometimes and be like, okay, yeah, I don't look how I want to look or think I look how I think I should look, but if I go back and think about like, well, I could look just like this, but in a 5X shirt and fill it out the way I'm filling out this XXX shirt.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, you just kind of have to have that reality check sometimes.
No, I mean, like, you know, the whole body dysmorphia thing, man. I mean, it's legit. I mean, you know, like I said, I put on some weight, you know, last year, and you know, I wake up in the morning, go in the bathroom, you know, as soon as I walk in the door, there's a mirror right there. You know, and I'm like, God, dude, look, what am I doing? Like, I look, you know, but I weigh 195 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, that's not easy, you know, and I just go, no, like, no, like, you look fine, you know, but I'm like, but to me, you know, because I've never really been a big guy, you know, I mean, I've always been small. I don't say small, but you know, like I said, when I graduated high school, I weighed 160 pounds, and I thought I was big then, you know. But I look back now and I was like, well, I would kick your ass. You're a little twerp, and so you know, but I see that, you know, and I'm like, God, dude, you gotta lose some weight. You're getting fat. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, it's just your head screwing. You know, be happy. Like, you know, you came down this far, you know, be happy that you've lost that weight, you know, like your mind can screw you big time. Just be proud of where you came from.
And usually, I mean, that's like why then, like, usually if I have one of those moments, I'll go and like post a picture or whatever, like where I was and where I am, or, you know, like, I try not to do that too much. Because I know there's a lot, and I don't like shame or judge people who do it all the time, because I know that like I could probably stand to be more celebratory of myself, right?
Right.
But I try not to do it too often. I try to showcase like the food more and the process itself, and not so much focus on me in general. Yeah. So I think that's kind of like where the YouTube channel comes in, or things like this. I try not to be so forward facing, I guess, but I posted like right before we started this, I went and posted on Instagram like a Transformation Tuesday, like the first time we went to Colorado versus like where I was, or like where I'm close to now, like. And it's like sometimes you just gotta have that like you have to go and look at that and go, okay, man, like if you see like that picture, you're like, huge, not huge anymore. Like, I mean, you can still see, like, I just sometimes need that, but
yeah. No, you do, man. I mean, you do what you got to do to make your mind right. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not, I've seen like some things that you posted, like, as far as food and stuff goes, man, like you should show that process, show what you made, show how you made it, and really, because people are going to do this. I mean, there's a lot of times I've went, like, if I wanted to make something, or I've just been like cruising YouTube, and it's like food shows. Like, I don't say I love to eat, but I like to cook something good, like there's this guy on TikTok right now. I can't remember what it's like, whiskey and something, but he's like all time like making like this big piece of meat, and he's like putting the rub on it, and he's making the sauce, and I love that. Like, I will, if I see something that I think I can do and I think will be good, like I'm gonna follow that video and figure out how to make it. So I mean, there's, I know you guys just make pork belly a lot, which I've still never had.
Dude, we haven't had it in a while either. Like I saw, we would eat it so much, and I need to go and get some more pork belly from Costco, and that's like one of the only places I can find it.
Yeah.
But because you can buy like 10-pound slabs, or you can buy, like, have like cut into like little strips.
Right.
But I like cutting, like just getting the 10-pound slab, and I got a huge roasting pan, and I'll put it in the oven for a long time, and I'll just season it, and then what I'll do is cut it down. Once I've roasted it, cut it down, and then I'll put it in the fridge, and then I'll like make it into like breakfast, like home fries, crisp them up all the way that are real crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, that's something, like when we went to Colorado the second time, when we went hiking a bunch, and because like the first time I went to Colorado, like I could barely breathe. So like it was just really bad. The second time we went hiking, we lost a bunch of weight. We had a good time. We went to Costco, picked up the pork belly. That was the first time I ever cooked pork belly. And then I knew, like, the next morning we had a bunch left over. I cut into little tiny pieces, put it in the frying pan. Man, that is so, like, come out so crispy.
Oh, damn.
Oh, they're so good, man. Like, go to Costco.
Yeah, I'm going to, man. I literally, God, man, I used to see you, like, you cook it and you would show pictures of it. I was just like, and remember we talked about it on the show, and you were like, dude, it's the best thing ever. I
need to make a video on it, because I do a lot of cooking in my, like, a lot of my videos like are cooking based. So
right.
I am showing how I make things. Like, so I just recently posted 2 videos on how to make keto hash browns.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yep.
Yeah, so like I made the first one, and then like the pan I had was such a disaster. I was like, I'm gonna get new pans, and I'm gonna make another video showcasing that it doesn't have to be this difficult.
Right.
Because that cut my time in half.
Oh,
with those new pans, right? So I was just able to like quick and flip them over.
Right.
The other metal pan, man, I was like taking a butter knife and digging around the edges, and it was just.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all of our pans are destroyed. My wife destroyed them before her last competition, when she first got started. She was using like metal, a spatula on a nonstick pan and just scratched the hell out of them.
Well, I'm lucky now. I'm the only one that does most. I do like 99% of the cooking, and I've like accumulated some newer Tefal like stuff, and I only use like rubber and plastic on them, so they're holding up really well. So I'm really glad about. I love my cookware, and I like it to function well. I don't like it to stick. So.
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, and I put a lot of like grease and fat and stuff in it too, so it shouldn't stick at all. But
yeah, sure. No, man, I think what you're doing, dude, is great. Especially with this channel. I said it the other day. I guess it was last week or the week before. I saw you start posting some more stuff, and I was like, man, I don't see much of that. You know, I mean, my wife might, but I don't follow. You know, I don't just follow food stuff. I'm not a big foodie. She's one that's always on a diet, so she follows all that stuff. But you know, you popped up, and I was like, dude, this is a great idea. I mean, there's going to be people out there that need to know the information how to start, and nobody's going to know that better than you.
I mean, starting like back when in 2016, man, I was like a podcast. There was like the 2 Keto Dude podcast. They're not even around anymore.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's exploded now. Like right. I even still will find new YouTube channels. Like I found a new YouTube channel the other day, a guy making like Asian street food, keto, cause like when I fast, I'll get to these weird things where I'll go and I'll watch like these like Korean street food videos.
Yeah.
They're making like the weird cheese dogs and I'll sit and just watch like,
yeah, right. Yeah.
Or I'll watch like Randy Santel videos where he's eating like 13 pounds of food.
Yeah.
I was like, to eat. But I mean, I have no desire to eat, but I'll just watch those videos or like Triple D, diners, drive-ins and dives or whatever. But I found this guy's channel the other day and then like, I just like commented a couple of his videos and I followed him on Instagram and then like he followed me back and was like commenting on my videos and stuff. And he's got like 36,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's amazing. Like just how you can grow on YouTube. I mean, I've got like less than 350 subscribers right now, but
right. You just started what 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I started January 1st.
Right.
Like really. So I think January 1st I had 52 subscribers.
Yeah. I mean, you just keep putting it out there, man. I mean, you definitely know what you're doing and definitely people are gonna know, you know, I mean, people who want to know, you know, if you put out the good information, which is stuff that you already know, man, it's gotta take off, you know.
It's been a while since we've talked too, so it's good.
I know, man. No, I mean, I could talk keto all night, dude. I mean, it's stuff that we've made, you know, just different stuff. Like I still got 2 keto books downstairs that I probably only made it about a quarter way through each one.
There's a sweet keto recipe book by there's a guy out of India, Sahil, and he's got Headbanger's Kitchen.
Yep.
On YouTube, and he's got this keto cookbook that I picked up. Got it on Amazon for like $20. Yeah. And it's got like 50 or 100 like ridiculous recipes in it.
Yeah.
So I recommend picking that one up. It's $20. It's a hardcover book. It's awesome. I picked it up and I'm like, I mean, just like because I've gotten other stuff, like other recipe stuff before, like PDF files and stuff, and I'm like, meh. Then I open this book up and I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, it's awesome. Oh, dude, it's crazy, man. Like, I mean, some of those recipes, like, like you're making, like, I mean, this huge meal, and you're just like, how do these people figure this out? You know, this big, and it's all keto, and it's like, how do you do this?
I'll tell you, like, most of my inspiration for my recipes come from when I'm fasting. Like, I'll start fasting, I'll do like a week. I try to do like at least a week, like every 3 months.
Yeah.
And during that fast, I'll just be like, what am I going to cook when I'm done? And then like my brain will start turning and I'll come out and like, they're not all winners. Like the other day I tried to make like a batter out of pork rinds and eggs.
Yeah.
And I was trying to dip shrimp in it and I had picked up some cheese curds from Aldi, some like these jalapeno cheese curds. And I was going to make fried cheese curds. And I tried to make this batter, but like, no matter how I put like over 12 eggs into this thing and it just got so thick, so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so like it didn't work I was trying to film it. I got like half of it filmed and it was like kept falling apart. So I was like, okay, I'm scrapping that idea. I mean, I know that I try to tell people I'm going to show the failures, but that was such a failure that I was only like half a recipe. Yeah. You would have got nothing out of it except me messing up real bad on camera, right?
Right.
So
right.
I had all this like batter. So I put it into my little like silicone molds. And then I just took a piece of shrimp and stuck it in the top of each one. And then I put a little bit of Parmesan cheese. I sprinkled Parmesan cheese on the top of each one, put those in the oven. They came out like these little muffins, these little pork rind muffins with shrimp on top.
Yeah.
And they were really good, right? So I ate those the other day. Then I had some today. I took like some garlic. I had made I made a video the other day, like making garlic confit.
Uh-huh.
Where I put like garlic and some onions in a pan covered in olive oil for 3 hours at 200 degrees.
Yeah.
So I took some of that and ground it up and made like and I put a little more olive oil in it. And I basically made like garlic butter and put a bunch of butter in my pan, some of that, mix it all up, and I put like in the pan and covered up with a lid. And then I just like basically to kind of reheat them up and kind of crisp them up, and then I just flipped them over. Oh, dude, I dipped them in some of this G. Hughes like sweet chili, like a sweet Thai chili sauce.
Yeah.
Dude.
Uh-huh.
It was so good.
Dude, I tell you, before we wrap up, one of my favorite things, I'm a huge taco guy. I love tacos. Any kind of taco. I love tacos. And that was like the one thing when we started doing keto, I was like, I can't have tacos, and I know there's like the low carb, wraps and stuff, but I was so like, no, I'm not eating that. I don't want that. I don't want anything that's even remotely, flour based or anything, And so I always had, block of cheese, sitting around. And so we made, you would make, the cheese crisp, I was talking about the other day. That's what got this started, it was a staple. I just made them bigger. And then when I pulled them off, we had these little metal, I don't know, like almost like taco stands, like you get like Qdoba or something. And I was like, all right, we'll just throw it over there. And I just let it cool on that shape. And I was like, oh, I just made a taco shell. So that's how I ate tacos. I loved it.
Dude, it works, man. I mean, that's like you were talking about, like trying to avoid those tortillas. One of the biggest things I found with like the keto bread, like all like the different brands that are out in the stores, like we can go to Walmart right now and get like 2 or 3 different keto breads.
Yeah.
Or like 3 or 4 different like low carb tortilla wraps. They just jack me up. Like I get bloated on them.
Oh yeah.
And then like my joints and my muscles hurt if I eat too much of that.
The crap still got gluten in it.
It's got all the gluten, the wheat, and all that stuff. And like, you don't realize how that affects you till it's gone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Man.
I was like, oh man, I just like one morning I woke up and I was like, hey babe, can you push me out of bed? It was like, I just achy. And I'm like, why do I ache like this?
It's the gluten, man.
It's that. I mean, we just eat too much of it.
Right. We do. We absolutely do, man. Man, speaking of those tacos, man, it sounds amazing right now.
Keto tacos this weekend.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I might have may make some breakfast pizza too now that I think about it.
Oh, if you want some queso, man, I got a cool recipe on my channel, man.
Hey, man, if it's taco related, I am on it.
Man, I made this queso, man. It was so good, man. You just have to check it out.
I will absolutely check it out. What's your other YouTube channel?
The other YouTube channel I have is going to be music based.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I talk to like musicians and guitar players and singers and I've got another streaming project that I've been working with a guy named Nick out of Chicago and been doing stuff on his channel. And like we just talked to a guy the other day that's got like he's like 22 years old and interviews like big 80s rock stars.
Yeah.
Like he got like we were talking with him and he had interviewed like the guy from Savatage a little while back and like some big, guy hadn't done an interview in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So like, and he went to this guy instead of like, like any of the other bigger publications. So that's one thing that I'm looking to do. I just want to have like these kind of conversations, but with, like guitar players and singers and stuff. Cause music is huge to me. Like I wouldn't have made it far enough to get to where I needed keto if it wasn't for music. And now keto's making me live. So, like That's all I really want to do with even this is just have conversations. It doesn't matter to me like if they're necessarily full keto or vegan or whatever. I just want I want to have conversations because I think we can all stand to learn something from everybody.
Oh yeah. I mean, what do you like? How do you like? I mean, obviously you do fasting. Do you do intermittent fasting, or how do you how do you eat? You eat just whatever you want, or do you do the?
As of late, I've been getting up in the morning. I've been getting up at like 6 a.m. every day, and I'll have my coffee with some like heavy cream in it. I'll have like a big old coffee,
right?
And have some heavy cream, and then I probably won't eat again. I won't eat anything really until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. Yeah, because I actually have a girl that I'm really good friends with that is a huge. I mean, she's keto, but huge intermittent fasting. I mean, she lives and dies by it.
That was integral for me. Like I said, like being at home all the time makes that a little harder for me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, just for the fact that like if I don't have I try to keep a routine even here, but it's not the same. Like if I leave the house, then I know I'm not like near my fridge. You know what I mean? Or like I can't like decide, well, I want to go make me some eggs, or I want to go and warm up the steak from last night, or it's I try to keep everything. I try to keep it all contained, but some days are better than others. Like if days that Shannon and I are both off together, like. We'll get up and I'll make breakfast for the both of us, and then we'll go do our stuff. And I don't know, but intermittent fasting was huge for me in the beginning. Like it started like 14 hours, and then like I was doing like 16 hours and then 18. Then I was doing like 20 hours a day fasted and eating in like in a 4-hour window.
Right.
So, and I mean, you just kind of have to find your sweet spot. And because I'm into some fasting groups on Facebook, and people, they want to know I've made it, I want to go 3 days, but I've only made it, 36 hours before. I'm like, well, don't go from 36 to 72, go from 46 or 36 hours to 40 hours. Then do that a couple times. Yeah. Then move to 48 hours and do that a couple times. Just it's like, I didn't go from, 16-hour fast to 21 days.
Yeah.
I did that over 5 years.
Right. Yeah. You got to work up to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you really have to. And then you got to but then when you're doing longer fasts, electrolytes play a huge thing. Like you were talking about with starting the keto, having the pickle juice, whatever. Like I go a little harder than that. Like I have like stuff like LMNT, like electrolyte drink stuff. And I'll just take supplements. I'll just take magnesium and potassium and add salt to water and stuff. So it just helps a lot. So
sure. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, that was horrible. I mean, I couldn't, it was like a leg pain I've never felt before. I mean, I've had like cramps, but like literally my entire back of my legs hurt. And I was just like, what? And it hurt to walk. I was just like, what is going on? I didn't have any salt. I didn't have anything in me.
So like when you do like that initial like keto, like your body just goes and pushes it all out. And then you just kind of have to replenish it. Well, I really appreciate you being on here today. And I really appreciate catching up. And we'll have to have you on again just because I think talking to you is pretty awesome. So
for sure, man. Anytime, just let me know.
And I'll try to get your wife on sometime. I want to talk to her about the bodybuilding, and because that's a whole other thing that I don't know anything about.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy. It's just the stuff that they have to do. It's like I tell you what is really interesting is like leading up to the actual show and like how they deplete. Like it's crazy. Like I could show you like before like one period and then 2 weeks later. That's right before the show. And it's like how, like what her body looks like and how like they deplete and then throw food into it to make it explode. It's nuts, man. Like she'll go from being absolutely no veins showing to veins just popping everywhere and you just look yoked. It's crazy, dude.
I think I had a friend years ago get into that for a little while, but I was just like, it's such a like an alien thing. Like, because even when I was younger, like I used to love like Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. So like, obviously there was kind of like that edge of bodybuilding around him.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't something that I was like, well, let me know more about bodybuilding. I just never, it was, I don't know. I was just always the fat kid, I guess.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I mean, it's very, I mean, it's like her day of show. She could have 2 ounces of coffee that morning. And then she was able to have like 2 ounces of water like a couple times that day. I think she actually had like a little like baby bottle type deal, and she knew it was 2 ounces, so she could drink that. But it's just weird, man. Like, I mean, I'm sure she would talk about it, but it's like right now she's in the bulking phase of it, and so she's puffy.
That'd be definitely interesting. I definitely want to talk to her about this. I mean, that's something totally alien to me, and I think that would be something cool. I think that'd be something cool to know about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can talk to her. She's not a big fan of podcasts, but I can talk her into it.
Well, don't pressure her, but if she wants to, that's cool.
Yeah, she can do it. She as long as she has time.
Oh yeah,
she's like the busiest woman I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've got a couple people you could probably talk to. Like the one girl about the intermittent fasting. Like she's
for sure
about it. She's read all these books and she's just like information. I can't remember what her Instagram handle is, but she posts a lot of stuff on there too. But yeah, no, man.
Let me know. Keep me posted on that stuff.
Sure.
Definitely, because I want to talk to people that keep me like honest too. You know what I mean? Like someone comes on like intermittent fasting and might push me to, keep me going with that. Cause like I said, just being at home kind of like, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like when you leave the house, there's no going back. So like if I'm here all day, then it's just like I'm like when I'm busy and I'm moving and I'm editing videos or I'm going out and shopping, then it's I can get up in the morning, have my coffee, then I'm out the door and I'm running. It's so much easier if I stay busy than if I'm just in the house doing down stuff all day.
For sure, man. Absolutely. It's just too easy to go hit the fridge.
Yeah. And our fridge is like, I've got a fridge and 2 freezers.
Yeah.
Well, 3, if you count the one we haven't plugged in yet. It's like 6 foot tall.
Oh, geez, man. Hell yeah.
They're all like either given to us or they're like, we got them on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. So,
right, for sure.
Buy all the discount meat.
Hey, man, still feeds.
So, are you doing Smugcast now, or is that on hold? Or
no, man. I mean, we pretty well ended the show. Like I said, I got into real estate, and I just didn't have time. And then by getting into real estate and me, doing video work that I've done for, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years. I really don't remember at this point. That led to other stuff. And then, BJ and I, we started Flyover Media, and we've tried to, evolve that, but it's just like my schedule, his schedule, and all, it's real estate, my full-time job, my video work, photo work, we do audio stuff. It's like, where do we have time? It's like, where can we fit in, an hour one day to like post stuff for this or do stuff for this? So, I mean, we put Smugcast, we more or less just shut it off. I mean, it's not dead. It's always there if we want it. We put out about 3 or 4 shows a year. Just, me and BJ, we kind of sat down, put out a show. And, we usually, we still get about the same amount of downloads as we did when we stopped. But, I more or less, we have the studio and BJ produces podcasts out of it now. So, we make a little bit of money doing that. And that's just kind of the route we want. When we started Smugcast, we didn't really want to be like the on-air talent, I guess. we kind of play those characters, on the show, but I mean, for the most part, like I like to sit and, this office and edit video or edit audio, and not have to really be that person on the show. It's like I want to be the behind the scenes guy. It's like I don't want to be the band. I want to be the guy who manages the band. It's just how I am. It's like I like to make other people look good. And BJ's the same way. So it's kind of the road we're kind of going down now.
Yeah, I mean, like since I've been doing this channel and trying to do all the editing and everything, it's a whole new world. Like I never thought that I would enjoy being like on camera or even like making videos. Never thought I would be as comfortable as I am doing it.
Yeah.
And then when I got to where I was editing my own videos, I never thought that I would enjoy it. It's a definite learning curve involved.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even doing this is, the first episode of this, but I think this is something that I really enjoy. I mean, it's really weird how things change.
Oh, for sure, man. I used to not be able to stand my voice.
Oh, I still can't, but I have to suffer through it now.
Right, man. I suffered through 140 some odd episodes of Smugcast. And, now when people say like, oh, I don't like my voice. And I was like, well, you should hear it 140 times at least an hour.
Man, I worked a job where it was like a call center job where we routinely were supposed to listen to our calls and critique them and learn from them. And I somehow managed to get through like 12 years of doing that and listen to like one call.
Yeah.
I just couldn't, like the idea of my own voice was so cringy. And then when I got to editing video, one thing that I found with editing it on my phone, it would be a lot more, you would hear the same things over and over and over again because you're trying to find that right spot where to cut.
Right.
And I don't have that with like DaVinci. I don't have that issue now because I can actually see the waveform and I can see where I want to cut it. And
but sure.
Yeah. I mean, so do you have anything you want to promote? Do you want to talk about do you want to put out your real estate? You want to buy a house?
Yeah. If we're selling in Indiana. So if you want anything, need anything real estate related, man, you can find me on Facebook. It's Aaron Powell with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. You can just type that in. I'll pop up. Instagram. I don't use that a lot for real estate. I just don't find that it's necessary. But I'm on there too. But my video production, it's AP Productions on Facebook. I think it's AP Productions on Instagram. I don't use Twitter a lot for either one of those. To me, it's just platforms don't match for like real estate. I mean, video it does, but it's just like it's like for my video, like I don't even have a website because I used to. I don't anymore because if you have a website, anybody can contact you. So that means you got to deal with anybody who calls you. If you don't have a website, it's mostly word of mouth. So, I mean, if somebody likes me and they like, if they want to give me creative control over something, like those are the people that I want to work with. Because the last thing I need is somebody trying to tell me that has no video experience, like, well, it needs to look like this. Well, no, it doesn't. You're an idiot.
And that's something that I learned, just like how to make things look a certain way. Because I just try to make it not look like I'm a total newbie beginner type of person. So
yeah,
and I'm sure if somebody watches like from very beginning, well, not like the first video because I didn't edit that video, but from anything from 2021 all the way up like the 70 whatever videos I've released so far, like there's been a definite production progression and being able to move. Like I've updated like my intro and the music and how it cuts together and just learning and growing and doing all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
so
sure, man. I love video. Like I've done photography for years. I've done video for years. Like video is by far my favorite. I don't know why. It's almost like because it's more challenging. It's like it's not just one photo. Like it's a whole video. Like it's technically a bunch of photos put together. So I get it, man. I love video. Like if you got any questions, anything, you got like an idea you can't figure out, man, run it by me, dude. I'll be glad.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to probably be like bugging you one of these days.
Nah, man, feel free, dude. I love talking video, dude.
Well, I do appreciate you stopping by and talking with me about all this, and I'll have you on again. And
Yeah.
And reach out to BJ for me. Let him know that I'm thinking about him, and we'll probably have to get him on here too.
Yeah, for sure, man. He'd love to.
All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you later.